In the years since the end of humanity's most destructive war, historians have uncovered no less than 42 different plots to kill its mastermind, Adolf Hitler. But who were these would-be assassins, and how close did they get? In this video, we shine the spotlight on 5 plots to kill one of the most hated men in history. Let's start with by far the strangest recorded attempt on the Führer's life. This incident occurred on November 26, 1937. 2 years before the start of the Second World War, Hitler was inside an office in the Reich Chancellery building in Berlin when a commotion was heard in the hallway. A man by the name of Josef Thomas had somehow managed to get past all the security in the building with a pistol and was meandering around in an attempt to find Hitler and his number 2 man, Hermann Göring. Guards rushed to the scene and disarmed him before a shot was fired. The Reich Chancellery guards handed Thomas over to the Gestapo, the Nazis' secret police force. When interrogated, it became abundantly clear that Thomas was deranged. Some sources claim he had spent time in an insane asylum before his assassination attempt, but this is difficult to verify. It's unclear what Thomas's motivation for killing Hitler and Göring was, but if the madman succeeded, the Second World War might never have happened. Unbelievably, this wasn't the last time a madman tried to shoot Hitler. Maurice Paval, a Swiss seminary student, nearly got close enough to shoot him several times, but was invariably unlucky. Paval was a devout Catholic studying to become a missionary. While at seminary school, he met Marcel Goebbels, a charismatic man who claimed to be a Romanov descendant. Paval was enraptured with Goebbels' stories and joined his fan club, La Compagnie du Mystère. The club was dedicated to bringing about the fall of extreme left and right-wing politics in Europe to preserve Catholicism. As Goebbels was purportedly a Romanov, the company planned to install him on Russia's throne when Bolshevism was destroyed. After spending some time with his group, Paval concluded that Hitler was an atheistic agent of Satan, and killing him would save European Catholicism. Whatever Goebbels said must have been really convincing. Paval bought a pistol and a ticket to Munich for the 15th anniversary of the failed 1923 beer hall putsch. The Nazis held a street march in remembrance of their dead comrades, and Hitler was sure to be there. Paval posed as a Swiss journalist to get close, but when Hitler was nearest, he was obscured by a gaggle of Nazi elites and SS guards. Paval knew straight away that he couldn't get a clean shot and decided to try again later. After learning that Hitler was en route to Berchtesgaden in a few days, Paval seized his chance. Arriving early, he tried to enter Hitler's residence with a forged letter from a prominent French nationalist. The guards didn't buy it, and a demoralized Paval was forced to call off his attempt. Through sheer luck, Hitler had escaped. Paval wasn't so lucky. On his return journey home, he was found with an incriminating letter and a gun. The Gestapo made him disappear. While Paval's attempt on Hitler's life was foiled by lack of planning, another plot was ruined by the assassin's strict adherence to schedule. The man in question was George Elsa, who attempted to blow up the Nazi leadership on November 8, 1939. Elsa could sense there was a war on the horizon and was compelled to act. He saw the Nazi leadership as warmongers and knew that if they were left to their own devices, Germany would be pulled into another grisly war. A proud working man, Elsa had seen the effects of the Great War on German workers and was determined to avoid another one. He wasn't communist, but that didn't stop the Nazis sending him to Dachau for re-education. When captured after his bombing, Elsa declared, "I wanted to prevent, by my act, even greater bloodshed." Elsa spiraled into obsession, with his friends noting he was always extremely interested in some act of violence against Hitler and his cronies. He decided to build a bomb and took jobs at a quarry and a clock factory to steal explosives and parts for a timer. He took these parts to Munich, where Hitler was due to give a speech at a building called the Berger Braukeller on November 8th. Elsa arrived 3 months early on August 5th. By day, he drew up plans and constructed his bomb, while at night, he prepared the Berger Braukeller. He hollowed out a space behind a wooden panel next to the stage, and after roughly 30 nights of work, finally fitted his bomb into place with a timer on the night of November 5th. Hitler was due to give a speech at the Berger Braukeller, but the French invasion needed planning and he was short on time. It was foggy too, meaning he would have to take the train back to Berlin that evening instead of flying. Consequently, Hitler decided to cut his speech short by an hour, and by 9:07 p.m. he was finished and out of the building. 13 minutes later, at 9:20, Elsa's bomb went off, bringing down the ceiling, killing 16 people and injuring 63 more. For political reasons, the Nazis claimed the bomber was a foreigner, but Hitler had a different take. He believed his survival was a sign from God, declaring, "My leaving the Berger Brau earlier than usual is proof to me that Providence wants me to reach my goal." When it comes to eliminating the Chancellor of Nazi Germany, bombs seem to be the way to go. At least that's what Wehrmacht Colonel Rudolf Christoph Freiherr from Gestoff thought. As you've guessed from his name, Gestoff was an old-school Prussian with a strong sense of martial honor. He and his fellow conspirator, Henning von Tresckow, were appalled at the treatment of Soviet POWs and Russian civilians by the Wehrmacht. To avoid becoming even more complicit in genocide, the men plotted to kill Hitler and his top Nazis and transfer control of Germany to traditional Prussian military authority. Gestoff formulated a plan while serving with Tresckow in Army Group Center during the invasion of Russia. As an expert in enemy weaponry, he had been invited to lead Hitler, Göring, Himmler, Field Marshal Keitel, and Grand Admiral Dönitz through an exhibition of Soviet weapons in Berlin. Gestoff planned to light a bomb and keep it inside his coat. When the fuse ran out after 10 minutes, he'd give the Führer a hug of death. It was a suicide mission, but Gestoff was committed to the cause. In the words of Tresckow, "Both duty and honor demand from us that we should do our best to bring about the downfall of Hitler and National Socialism to save Germany and Europe from barbarism." On March 21st, 1943, Hitler was led into the exhibition by the bombed-up Gestoff. The fuse had been lit, and in 10 minutes, the Nazi high command would be a stain on a blown-out wall. Contrary to all expectations, Hitler just wasn't interested in Soviet weapons that day. He simply strolled through the exhibition and was out the other side in less than 10 minutes. Gestoff had lost his chance, and, literally about to explode, ran into the toilets. According to his account, the Prussian colonel managed to defuse the bomb at the last second. Hitler never found out about Gestoff's plot, nor how close he came to death. It wasn't the first time a Prussian officer had tried to kill the Führer, and it wouldn't be the last. Immortalized in the 2008 film Operation Valkyrie, the July 20th plot was the last recorded attempt on Hitler's life. It was supported by a staggering proportion of the military establishment, including 9 key conspirators and many other sympathizers. When the Nazis seized power from the Weimar Republic in 1933, they had to have many key members of the conservative German elite on side. These elites were descendants of the Prussian aristocracy, which traditionally had an extensive say in German policy. As the years went by and the Nazi regime grew to dominate all spheres of public life, these old-school elites were beginning to realize that, in clubbing with Hitler, their status as leaders of Germany was in jeopardy. Tresckow was one of the first to realize this and started gathering supporters to eventually take the Reich back from the Nazis. Before July 1944, there had been a total of 5 assassination attempts by Tresckow's conspirators, including the previously mentioned bombing by Gestoff. The July 20th plot was supposed to be the final one, killing Hitler, ending the war, and setting Germany on a path toward conservative Prussian dictatorship. The plot was led by the young Lieutenant Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, a committed German nationalist who believed Hitler's dictatorship was a moral evil. On July 20th, 1944, the plot was set in motion. Stauffenberg placed a bomb in his briefcase and entered the conference room in the Wolf's Lair, Hitler's military headquarters. Hitler and 24 other officers were gathered in the room discussing military plans when the bomb went off. Minutes beforehand, Stauffenberg had received a pre-arranged telephone call and left the building, saving himself. The blast killed 4 officers, but spared the Führer, who was only slightly wounded. The conspirators had planned to launch a coup after killing Hitler, but his survival rendered their plans moot. It had been a colossal failure and effectively a death sentence. The Gestapo quickly investigated the plot and had the conspirators purged. Tresckow stayed true to his beliefs, pledging after his trial, "The whole world will vilify us now, but I'm still totally convinced that we did the right thing." Those were 5 times Hitler narrowly avoided assassination by sheer dumb luck. But what do you think? How many attempts on Hitler's life do you think could have gone unrecorded? How do you think the war would have ended if the July 20th plot had been a success? What do you think Joseph Thomas's motivation was? Let us know in the comment section below. And just before you run off, guys, if you're interested in other facets of history from all different eras, check out our Brave channel where we post high quality videos. We're aiming to do it every week, but at the moment it's every 2 weeks, about badasses from all different eras of history. So if that sounds like it's up your alley, that's the first link in the description below. And if you're more about the music scene, check out our Relax Jack music channel, where we use some of the music on that channel in the background of our videos here on the front. And if you want access to a behind the scenes Discord and exclusive videos, check out our Patreon. And last but not least, if you just want to join our wider community and get access to exclusive content you won't find on the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and our Discord server. Anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new.